Age gap relationships. What does the Bible really say? Welcome to Dating Relationships.
Age gap relationships, right or wrong? Many people question whether large age gaps in relationships are appropriate. Some see them as problematic, while others believe love knows no age. But instead of basing our views on culture or opinions, let's explore what the Bible teaches. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 to everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Question: what do you think about age gap relationships? Are they wise or risky? Comment below.
Alright, let's dive into this whole age gap debate. I mean, there's this idea, right, that love is supposed to be this universal thing, but then you throw in an age difference, and suddenly everyone's got an opinion.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how quick people are to judge, without considering the context or, honestly, what the Bible might have to say about it. Like Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, there's a season for everything under heaven. That includes relationships, even ones with an age gap.
Yeah, and it makes you think, are we making the big a deal out of age? Like, take Boaz and Ruth. He was way older than her, but that didn't stop their relationship from being like this amazing example of godly love, you know.
Right. Their story wasn't about the number of years between them. It was about their character and faith. Boaz showed kindness, integrity, and protection, and Ruth's loyalty and faithfulness.
That's exactly it. It's like their ages don't even matter when you look at how deeply they trusted God and supported each other. Isn't that the kind of stuff that really counts in a relationship?
Absolutely. And that reminds me of my Aunt Gloria. She married a man 13 years older, and let me tell you, it raised some eyebrows back in the day. But their relationship, it was built on faith and mutual respect. They prayed together, supported each other's calling. Was a beautiful partnership.
See, I love that. It's like, okay, instead of just judging the age gap, we should be asking if the relationship honors God, if the couple shares faith and values. That's what matters, right?
Exactly. And the story of Boaz and Ruth reminds us of that. The Bible doesn't say, watch out for age gaps. What it does say is to look for wisdom, faith, and godliness in relationships. It's about the season God has put you in and hosts walking that journey with you.
Right. So maybe instead of sweating the numbers, we need to ask if the relationship is built on trust and shared purpose. Stuff that actually builds a foundation. That's what Boaz and Ruth had. It's kinda inspiring, honestly.
You're so right, Jamal. Trust and shared purpose really are foundational. And that reminds me of Abraham and Sarah. Their story is such a beautiful example of how God's purpose can work through any couple, no matter their age difference. Abraham was about 10 years older than Sarah, but their relationship wasn't defined by that. It was defined by their obedience to God and, let's be real, their faith in His promises.
Yeah, like the whole thing when God promised them a child way past the age when, people normally think about starting a family. It's kinda wild when you think about it.
It really is. And it shows us something important. Age differences don't limit what God can do in a relationship. He used Abraham and Sarah to bring about His covenant with His people. Their story is a testament to trusting God over societal norms or limitations.
Exactly. And it's like that trust and partnership made Sarah kind of a ride or die right. Like, she stuck by Abraham in some pretty crazy circumstances. That's real partnership stuff.
Absolutely. And then there's King David and Abishai. Now this one is a little different. It wasn't a romantic relationship in the way we think of today, but it brings up some interesting points about biblical cultural norms. Abishai was chosen to care for the king in his old age in a marriage, but she was quite a bit younger than him.
Yeah, and doesn't that tell you a lot about how different the cultural contexts were back then? Like, age gaps weren't just overlooked. They were kind of built into how relationships worked in some cases.
Exactly. And while we can't directly translate cultural norms from thousands of years ago into modern life, we can draw lessons, like the importance of purpose and context in relationships. Relationships like these weren't about the age gap, they were about serving a greater need or calling.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, instead of assuming an age gap is good or bad, ask what's driving the relationship. Is it respect? Is it shared purpose? Those are the things that should matter, not just the numbers.
Exactly. And I think that's what we see reflected in Boaz and Ruth, Abraham and Sarah, and David and Abishai to an extent. Each relationship tells a story of respect, maturity, and honoring God's plan, which really transcends any age difference.
So maybe the real question isn't about age at all. It's about how the relationship aligns with God's will and if it's grounded in mutual respect and purpose. You know, Lena, that's such a good point. Our respect, purpose, and alignment with God's will are what really matter in a relationship. But it's wild how myths and stereotypes can mess up that perspective when it comes to age gap relationships. Like, why is there this assumption that these relationships are automatically unhealthy?
Exactly. That one always gets me. The truth is, a relationship's health isn't about the age gap, it's about the people in it. If there is mutual respect, maturity, and shared values, the age number fades into the background.
Totally. And like, this assumption that the older partner always holds more power, it's kinda wild, right? A healthy relationship isn't about control, it's about partnership. That's the real deal.
Exactly. And honestly, the stereotype that younger partners are only in it for security or money, it's so reductive. People are drawn to wisdom, character, and shared purpose, things that have nothing to do with a bank account.
Right. So, it's like if respect and understanding are at the core, none of those myths even hold up. But at the same time, I get why people get stuck on them. Relationships with big age gaps do bring some challenges, for sure.
Absolutely. Differing life stages can complicate things. Like, one person might be thinking about retirement while the other's gearing up for their peak career years. If those life goals aren't aligned, it's tough.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on society's opinions. You get people whispering, judging, that's the term. Oh, the side-eye brigade.
Exactly. That's where communication and clear intentions come in. It's all about being grounded in God's will for the relationship, not what others think. Like Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. You've got to lean on that wisdom, individually and as a couple.
Yeah, ye seek wisdom, not opinions. And how about keeping God at the center? 1 Corinthians 10:31 makes it clear, right? Whatever you're doing, do it for His glory. That's gotta include relationships.
Exactly. Which is why spiritual alignment is such a big deal. Like we see in 2 Corinthians 6:14, do not be unequally yoked. If your faith and values don't align, the age gap's the least of your worries.
Yeah, I mean it's like if the foundation isn't solid, it doesn't matter whether there's a gap of 2 years or 20. But when both people are rooted in God, the relationship can thrive, despite the challenges.
Absolutely. And I think what we've touched on today is that while age differences might catch people's attention, they're not the defining factor of what makes a relationship godly. It's about respect, shared values, and honoring God in every aspect.
Exactly. So, to anyone out there navigating an age gap relationship, just remember, if your relationship is built on spiritual maturity and mutual respect, you're already ahead of the game. The rest is just no's.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And honestly, as we wrap this up, I think today's discussion has been a good reminder that the Bible provides timeless principles for relationships, regardless of age.
Yeah, it's been real. Remember, y'all, relationships hot ever the gap showed honor God. If you've got that, you're on the right track.
Amen to that. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on this topic that, clearly, has a lot of layers. Keep seeking wisdom and building relationships that reflect God's love.
Yeah, until next time, stay blessed and hey, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Alright, see you later.
Here's the summary of what we have learned in today's podcast. Okay, let's ditch the formal stuff and just talk heart to heart, shall we? Because age gap relationships, they're not about rules or what's supposed to be. They're about that crazy, undeniable pull you feel towards someone, that feeling like you've found a piece of yourself you didn't even know was missing.
Imagine this, you meet someone, and it's like the world just clicks into place. You laugh, you talk for hours, and you feel this electric connection that Eustace. You might notice they've got a few more laugh lines, or maybe they're just starting out on their career path while you're more settled. But honestly, in that moment, none of that matters. It's just you and them, and this feeling that's like coming home.
Yeah, society loves to throw its 2 cents in, doesn't it? They'll whisper about sugar daddies or cougars, and make all sorts of assumptions. They picture it as some kind of calculated move, a power play. But they're missing the whole point. They don't see the way your eyes light up when they walk into the room, or the way you hold hands, or the quiet moments where you just understand each other without saying a word.
And honestly, sometimes those age differences are what make it so magical. An older partner can bring a sense of calm, a feeling of security. They've seen a bit of the world, they've learned from their mistakes, and they can offer you a kind of wisdom that's hard to find. It's like having a safe harbor, a place where you can just be yourself, flaws and all.
But then, the younger partner brings this spark, this sense of adventure. They remind you to live in the moment, to chase your dreams, to dance in the rain. They make you feel young again, like anything is possible. It's this beautiful dance of give and take, a blend of different energies, that creates something truly special.
Of course, it's not always a fairy tale. There might be bumps in the road. You might have to deal with raised eyebrows from your family or friends. You might have different ideas about settling down or starting a family. But that's true of any relationship, isn't it? It's about navigating those challenges together, about finding compromises and building a life that works for both of you.
And that's where the real romance comes in. It's in the late night talks, the whispered secrets, the way you hold each other close when the world feels overwhelming. It's in the little things, like making them their favorite coffee or leaving a love note on their pillow. It's about building a world that's just for the two of you, a world where age doesn't matter, where only love exists.
It's about finding someone who sees you, truly sees you for who you are. Someone who loves your quirks, your flaws, your whole messy, beautiful self. Someone who makes you feel like you finally found your soulmate, your missing piece. And when you find that kind of love, it doesn't matter if they're 5 years older or 10 years younger. It's just right.
It's like the universe knew you were meant to be together, and it finally brought you home. So forget the rules, forget the judgments, and just let love lead the way. Because at the end of the day, that's all that truly matters.